Well, Patty, do you know what time it is?
I do.
I can't believe it, but it's already time for a Midweek Update. So, hope everybody had a great weekend last weekend.
We did. We keep having these great weekends.
I know.
And weeks and days. And, yeah.
I think we've been on the road now for like 34 nights or 35 nights, something like that. Yeah. So, and we still have a few more to go, but we're slowly getting down to the end.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Tonight we're recording here at Baker's Hole National Forest Campground, just outside of West Yellowstone. And $20 a night, no hookups, but they do have pit toilets and they have fresh water, which is always a plus.
That's always a good thing.
And they did have some sites with electricity for an extra fee, but we didn't need, and I didn't see any available anyway. So the good news is the solar panel has been a workhorse. We haven't been below really full for the last week. Ever since we shut the refrigerator off, and I think I mentioned that last week, our refrigerator's not working. Yep. So Austin's pretty sure it's the compressor, and we have an appointment at New Camp to get a bunch of things worked on when we get home. So so we're surviving out of the cooler, but now that we've done it for over a week, and the fact that the battery doesn't even really go below zero with running things like the Fantastic Fan and
my blow dryer, we use the inverter. It doesn't phase it
and then the solar just cranks out during the day, so
it's a good
that's
thing.
been a real plus. So, well, I think since we left you last week, we had spent a couple nights with Kevin and Karen. Jeff and Shelly had been over, and then we headed out and we did 3 harvest hosts in a row.
Yeah, we tried some farms this time.
Yeah, and I really like staying at the farms. Those were fun.
That first night, they had a restaurant.
Yeah, it was like a farm market. They had fields there with gardens and things like that. But yeah, it was like a little store where you could buy fresh fruits and vegetables. They had everything, actually.
They even had a play that night we could have went and watched.
Yeah, they were doing a play outside. You paid like one price and you got a buffet dinner. Now, we didn't do that because of Truman and Bess. But they had a little restaurant, so we did have some dinner there.
The best peaches.
Oh my gosh, the peaches were amazing. In fact, the guy didn't even charge us because he as he was bagging them up, he said, "They're too soft. I don't want to charge you for them, but you can have them."
Oh my gosh.
And they were amazing.
Yeah, they were so good.
But yeah, they had a little bit of everything there. They had a coffee house, and that was nice. And that was north of Lake Chelan a ways. I don't remember the exact town.
They were so pet friendly.
Yeah, they let them go in the little shut store. They let them in the outdoor patio for dining. And then the next day we took US 20 across eastern Washington into Idaho, and then dropped down just north of Spokane to Walter's Fruit Ranch.
Fruit Ranch, yeah.
We had been at Smallwoods Market Farm. Maybe it was called Smallwoods Farm the night before. But then we went to Walter's Fruit Ranch, and we were at Wedding Crashers again. They were having a wedding reception that night, and it was us and another RV there. But it's same deal.
So cute.
Yeah, it's same deal. Fresh fruits and vegetables from their fields and orchards. You could actually go out and pick things like cherries and peaches.
You could feed the sheep.
You could feed the sheep.
Because when they would feed the sheep, we could hear them. We weren't even near the sheep. And the sheep were just going cuckoo bean. You could hear them. Yeah,
and they had lots of like Washington products, like lavender products and things like that. And then they also had like a little cafe. You could get ice cream and homemade pie, espresso.
Everywhere's espresso.
Yeah. So we had a really nice time there.
We did.
And then we headed further east the next day over to Missoula.
Yeah.
And originally we had picked out a private campground. We thought we're gonna just spend the money. It was like $45 at Good Sam's. Thought that way we could get laundry done, and we got there and they were actually full. So then we thought, well, we'll try the KOA. They were full. And so we went to the Harvest Host, Big Sky Brewing, and I went in and asked if there was any chance we could stay, and luckily it was just us and one other RV, so we got to stay.
That was pretty cool because we were back behind. They have concerts.
Yeah.
So they put us back where they would have a concert, and I'm like, oh, shoot.
We were behind stage.
Brad Paisley, was it Brad Paisley?
Yeah, Brad Paisley is either played there or coming up. I can't remember. And
cool.
you know, it was just a gravel lot, so it wasn't any like great scenery. But I went up and tasted a few beers, and then they had a small shop where you could buy their beer, and they had T-shirts and, you know, just what you would find at a brewery. And so, in fact, I think I spent $25 there, and I ended up with a 6-pack of their summer shandy.
Good.
I had a 32-ounce can of their Hucket. It was a huckleberry beer that was amazing. And then I also got a bag of locally roasted coffee from there. So
how's that? Have you tried that?
yeah, it's very good. Yeah. And then so we just ran into town, did our laundry, and then we went to a pet-friendly brewery restaurant. Yeah, and that worked out really great because if you remember, it was happy hour. So we ended up kind of making a meal on some appetizers. And so I think our total bill with the beer, which was also on special, I think it was like $22, and we were absolutely stuffed. So, and then from there we headed farther east and south. And we ended up meeting up with our friends Russ and Kerry from the Roads We Roam. And we actually, the last 2 nights, boondocked with them out off of 20 in Idaho, near Island Park. It was the Bootjack Recreation Area, I believe.
Like it was fish and game.
Do a lot of land,
and hunting.
And it's absolutely free. And there's just, you know, you could tell where people camp because there's fire pits made out of stone, and there's lots of roads. It took us a while to actually find. Russ and Kerry beat us there.
We got off on the wrong little trail, and
actually I got down a road that got very narrow with trees. We do have some scrapes on some of the black trim, and we have a window that's scraped up pretty good. But you know,
hey, you use it. We use the rig, so it's not like you can't see out the window. It's just, I think it's a good thing. It's like it has a badge of honor.
It's a badge of honor. Carl's a little roughed up, but it shows that Carl is tough. He can go off-roading.
He's not a weenie.
No, that's right. And so Kerry had to work today, so we all came into town, and we took a site here. And actually yet tonight, this is Wednesday night when we're recording, we're actually going back into town when Kerry gets off work, and we're going to have a really late dinner with her and Russ. And then I don't know, probably our next move is going to be, we're going to go to Virginia City, and then we're going to go up to Bozeman, and we're going to go visit West Paw, which is a manufacturer of high-quality dog gear, toys, and harnesses and beds and things like that. And then I think we want to stop, hopefully, and you know, a lot of this will depend on the weather and things, but timing. But I think we want to go to Battle of Little Bighorn, where Custer's Last Stand was, and then we might end up at Devil's Tower, which everybody for a long
time. To go there, and we've been kind of near there and never ventured to it, so I'm trying.
And then we may check out Deadwood because 3 years ago when we went to Mount Rushmore and Custer State Park, we never ventured up to Deadwood, and we've heard it's kind of unique. So we may stop there, and then from there, I think we'll just keep going across, I guess that's South Dakota, right on into Minnesota, and then drop down through Wisconsin and back to Indiana.
Something different.
So anyway, that's kind of our plan. That's kind of the update on what's going on. I was trying to think.
Puppies, if you hear them, they're called the tickle the baby. They're roughhousing.
They're roughhousing a little bit. And Truman had a good time playing with Abby.
Oh my gosh.
Russ and
really
Kerry's.
Yeah.
So the problem is Abby gets to be off leash, and we just don't trust Truman yet. Unless it was like fenced in, and so
Abby's a little older, and she's good with her voice commands. They've trained her really well, and Truman's just not there yet. We're still working. He's still in training.
So, and I don't know if we'll do any more harvest hosting. I mean, I'd like to. We'll see.
It just depends on the heat, because sometimes we ran into a little bit of heat in Missoula, and
it was warm during the day, and it's been that way here the last 2 days or 3 days, really.
It get really warm,
but then it's cold at night,
and nice,
so we haven't had to actually run the generator, but we, you know, and some harvest hosts, I think it was at Big Sky Brewing, I actually asked, and she said absolutely you can run it. So we'll see. I don't know. And I was trying to think, is there anything else? I think that's about it. I mean, it's just flying by.
It's crazy how it just goes so quick.
And hopefully some of you caught our special crossover live stream. We had so much fun. We had so much fun doing that. And the other thing I want to mention is we do have our small creator Channel Summit coming up in September. We have those dates. If you go to our website, travelswithdelaney.com, and you click on meetups and campouts, it's listed on there with the exact dates. And there's a link to Randy's Adventures. Randy's actually hosting the page for it that'll explain it. But I'm really excited to announce that I can officially announce this.
Sure can.
So not only are Travels with Delaney coming, but the Roads We Roam are going to be there. And we have a really special guest coming. The RV Odd Couple is actually going to come and do like a keynote talk for all of us, because they've actually done really well with their channel in their first, 6 or 7 months. I believe they're over 30 or 35,000 subscribers. And I'm so excited to get to hear John and Mercedes talk about, what's been their success of growing rapidly and what are some of the challenges they're facing. So we only have just a few spots left for the summit. I think there's maybe only three or four spots. We're kind of limiting to 10 because we want to keep it a small group, very informal. And we do have some good talks that are going to be presented. Russ and Kerry are going to talk about influencer programs, how to become an influencer, how to make money. Randy is going to be talking about search engine optimization and Google. Alan Taylor is coming, who has a background in radio and TV. He's going to be talking about storytelling and editing. Obviously, John and Mercedes are going to be able to share a lot with their success. And then Patty and I will also be doing a talk on some of the key features of YouTube, as far as we all know about the editing and trying to tell a story. But once you get that video loaded, I always say there's still a lot of work to be done. Thumbnails, titles, tags, descriptions. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that and how I've been able to get better at building thumbnails. So, and then there's just going to be a lot of time to sit around the campfire. It may not actually be a campfire, but sit in a circle and we can share ideas and hang out. And
Amish food.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely getting Rise and Roll donuts one morning for everybody. So anyway, if you're interested in coming to the Small Creator Summit in September, that's going to be in Shipshewana, Indiana. But again, you can find the link on our website under the Meetups and Campouts tab. And we'd love to have you join us. It's absolutely free. If you can get to Shipshewana, Indiana, you want to grow your channel or you want to start your channel, I don't know where you would ever find an opportunity like this for free. So
when you call the campground, it's just
just tell them YouTube. So once you go to book your your reservation, go to our site, click the link to Randy's site, fill out the form to let Randy know you're coming, and then call the Shipshewana North Campground and just tell them you're with the YouTube group. We have a block set aside of 10 sites. So. All right, I think that's pretty much going to do it. I think we need to saddle up the ponies and get ready to ride on back into West Yellowstone. Okay. A little cowboy reference. And,
it would be fun. There are rodeos around here, but
I know.
They're not.
Carrie was actually trying to talk me into going into horseback riding in the morning.
I've never been on a horse.
I don't know.
Then she said zip lining. I'm like, ooh. Because, I don't want to break my leg again.
No. So we probably won't do that.
I'm thinking four-wheelers.
I was thinking about going to breakfast with them before we head out of town.
That sounds enough adventure for me.
So, all right, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. And until next week, we'll see you.
On down the road.
Good night.
Good night. Can't see.